Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Swapna and this is a fourth lecture on Introduction and Determinants of Consumer Behavior. So let us see the types of memory. Here are the two types of memory. One is a explicit memory and another is a implicit memory. The explicit memory refers to knowledge or the experiences that can be consciously remembered, and the implicit memory refers to the influence of experiences on behavior even if the individual is not aware of those influences. So let us discuss. Here are the three major memory stages, that is a sensory, then the short term and the long term. This first is a sensory memory. The sensory memory refers to the brief storage of a sensory information. Sensory memory is a memory, the buffer that lasts only the very briefly and then, unless it is attended to and passed on for a more processing is forgotten. The second is a short-term memory. It is a memory which can be recalled immediately and is activated and in use. So that's why it is known as a working memory also. The next and last, it's a long-term memory. It is a permanent storage in your mind and it is active and it can store a variety of information consisting of the concept, decisions, rules, etc. Hence, you can say the long-term memory, it's a permanent storage. So there are the three processes that are central to long-term memory, that is encoding, storage and a retrieval. The concept is encoding. The encoding is the process by which we place the things that we experience into memory. Unless information is encoded, it cannot be remembered. अगर हमें इंफॉर्मेशन रिमेंबर करनी है तो पहले वो इंफॉर्मेशन एनकोड होनी चाहिए. See the second, the storage. In storage, a knowledge is integrated into what is already there and the warehouse. A storage means already जो memory हमारे दिमाग में होती है, दिमाग में स्टॉक होती है. So that is a storage. Next is a retrieval. A retrieval refers to the process of reactivating information that has been stored in a memory. जो memory reactive होती है, जो already हमारे memory में होती है. We are the more likely to be able to retrieve the items from memory when the conditions at the retrieval are similar to the conditions under which we encoded them. अगर सेम कंडीशन आती है तो फिर वो इंफॉर्मेशन रिट्राइव होती है, फिर से हमें वो याद आती है. that is retrieval. The next is a recall. A recall in memory refers to the mental process of retrieval of information from past. We rely on our recall memory when we take an easy test because the test requires us to generate a previously remembered information. जो information already stored है हमारे दिमाग में वो फिर से recall हो सकती है, तो फिर उसके लिए आप कोई टेस्ट ले सकते हो कस्टमर की. So there are the three main types of recall, that is the free recall, then a queue recall and a serial recall. So let us discuss the first recall, that is a free recall. A free recall describes the process in which a person is given a list of items to remember and then is tested by using asked to recall them in any order. A free recall often displays evidence of primacy and recency effects. The primary effects are displayed when the person recall items presented at the beginning of the list earlier and more often. The recency effect is when the person recall presented at the end of the list earlier and more often. तो फिर उनके दिमाग में बहुत सारे आइटम्स और बहुत सारे इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर होती है. So that is a free recall. Second is a queued recall. When a person is given a list of items to remember and is then tested with a cues to remember material. That is a queued recall. Next is attitudes, the meaning and a characteristics. A consumer's attitude may be defined as a feeling of a favorableness or the unfavorableness that and the individual has towards an object. As we all know that an individual with a positive attitude is more likely to buy a product, and this results in the possibility of a liking or a disliking of product. Hence, you can say the consumer attitude may be a favorable or the unfavorable or likely or dislikely. The consumer attitudes basically comprises of the beliefs towards, the feeling towards and a behavioral intentions towards some objects. The next is a beliefs. A beliefs plays a vital role for consumer because it can be the either positive or a negative towards an object. Beliefs एक तो positive हो सकती है और negative हो सकती है. Then the affect. The consumer have a certain specific feeling towards some product or brand. Sometimes these feelings are based on a certain beliefs and sometimes they are not. So hence the affect, it means the consumers having a certain specific feeling about a certain product or about a certain brand. The next is a behavioral intentions. So they show the plans of the consumers with respect of the product. This is sometimes a logical result of beliefs or feelings, but not always but not always. For example, an individual personally might not like a restaurant but may visit it because it is the hangout place for his friends. See the characteristics of the attitude. The first is affective, cognitive, consistency. The degree of consistency between the affective and cognitive components influences the attitude behavior relationship. That is, the greater the consistency between cognition and the evaluation, the greater the strength of the attitude behavior relation. So you can say the attitude is affective, cognitive and a consistent. The next is a strength. The attitudes based on a direct experience with the object may be the held with a greater certainty. A certainty is also influenced by whether affect on or cognition was involved in the creation of the attitude. The attitudes formed based on affect are the more certain than attitudes based on a cognition. Next is a valence. It refers to the degree or grade of the likeliness and the unlikeliness towards a certain entity or the incident. Next is a direct experiences. The attitude is a summary of person's past experience. Thus, an attitude is grounded in a direct experience, predicts the future behavior more accurately. Moreover, the direct experiences makes the more information available about the object itself. Next is a multiplicity. It refers to the amount of features creating the attitudes. For example, one may show the interest in becoming a doctor, but another not only the shows the interest but also the work hard, is sincere and serious. It is a multiplicity. The next is a relation to needs. The attitudes vary in relative to requirements. They serve the attitudes of an individual towards the picture that serve only the entertainment needs. But the attitudes of an employee towards the task may serve the strong needs for security, achievement, recognition, and a satisfaction. Let us see the strategies for changing attitudes. Changing the basic motivational function by making a particular need prominent, we can change the consumer's attitude towards a product or a brand. The one method that can be used to change the motivation of the consumer is called a functional approach. So they are the classified into the four functions. The changing the basic motivational function, it means we can change the attitude of consumers regarding a certain product or a brand. So let us see. These are the classified into the four part. One is a utilitarian function, then a ego defensive function, value expressive function, and a knowledge function. The second is associating the with an admired group or event. The attitudes of a consumers towards the particular brands and services can change by consolidating with a social group or events. Third is the resolving two conflicting attitudes. The attitude change the strategies can sometimes resolve the actual or the potential conflict between two attitudes. The next is altering components of the multi-attribute model. A multi attribute is a strategy to change the attitude of the consumer by altering the evaluation of product, changing the perception about the brand, and remolding the overall brand rating by adding an attribute to a product. It changed the negative aspects into the positive aspect. And the last is a changing the consumer's beliefs about a competitor's brand. It is the strategy of changing a consumer's beliefs by comparing with the competition brands. Thank you.